Jnana labdva param shantim atirena digacchati. Shraddhavan, a faithful man, labhate, achieves, jnanam, knowledge, tatparaha, very much attached to it, samyata, controlled, indriya, senses, jnanam, knowledge, labdva, having achieved, param, transcendental, shantim, peace, atirena, very soon, adhigachati, attains. Let's read the translation. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayham Datati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritam Scha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Anshakalpa Tarubhyasta Kripa Sindhukya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It's so good to be with all of you today. I offer all my respectful obeisances to your lotus feet. And if I make any mistakes during the course of this small class, I ask for forgiveness. Hare Krishna. So today we will be discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, verse 39. And after describing the transcendental knowledge, Krishna is now declaring to us and letting us know the qualities one should have in order to be eligible for this transcendental knowledge. So he starts off by saying the first quality to get this knowledge of Krishna consciousness is faith. He says, Shraddhavan, a faithful man. So the first quality written by Krishna, said by Krishna, to get this spiritual knowledge is Shraddha, or faith. The next quality he talks about is dedication. And this is in the words tatparaha, very much attached to it. So Shraddhaval and tatparaha. So faith plus dedication. And then the last thing Krishna says for someone to be eligible for this transcendental knowledge is sense control. So this is samyatendriyaha, controlled senses. So this is the perfect formula to get to be eligible for transcendental knowledge. And it gives us transformative peace. So faith plus dedication plus sense control gives us eligibility for transcendental knowledge or wisdom. But someone may ask, what is the difference between the knowledge that we acquire in school, the knowledge that we see on the television, the knowledge that we acquire through our senses, and the transcendental knowledge? For example, I can tell you water is made by 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. I can tell you, in the news, there have been this many deaths of COVID. There have been this many cases. There have been this many vaccinations. There have been this many statistics. I can give you some. I can tell you. In order to integrate this function, you need to use this exponential function and this property of logarithms in order to solve this. What is the difference between the knowledge that Krishna is giving us and the knowledge that we are acquiring through our senses every day? Simply by touching maybe another material, you can tell the temperature of it. What is the difference between the knowledge that we acquire through our senses and the knowledge that we acquire in Krishna consciousness? And so here, Krishna tells us what the difference is. Krishna says, having achieved this transcendental knowledge, the faithful person achieves quickly the supreme spiritual peace. So if we reflect on all of the examples I said before, if I told you 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen make 1 water molecule, or I told you, this many deaths in COVID, this many vaccinations, all of the information we get, all of the knowledge we acquire in the breaking news, it does not bring us peace. Actually, the breaking news kind of breaks our heart. It makes us sad. It makes us doubt and lose faith, actually. So when we are dedicated to transcendental knowledge, that not just any other knowledge, we quickly attain spiritual peace. So the sign of true transcendental knowledge is that it can transform us from just everyday anxieties and worries and frustrations, being anxious all the time, to being peaceful. So that is the sign of transcendental knowledge, that it brings us peace. And we all want to be peaceful, especially in this COVID era. There is so many hurtful things happening in the world right now. And Sumeshwar Prabhuji was telling this to us last time I spoke. He was explaining how people are losing faith every single day seeing the news. People are losing faith that there can exist a loving, most wonderful, most benevolent, most forgiving God. People are losing faith simply by looking around them. People don't have faith anymore. And so faith is a missing ingredient in everything in life. In making spiritual progress, faith is that one missing ingredient. When we have faith in Krishna, when we have faith that the chanting of the holy names will bring us peace, will bring us to Krishna, when we have faith in that, then we can achieve peace. But when we don't have faith in Krishna, we cannot achieve peace. And so here, Srila Prabhupada, he stresses the importance of faith. Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a person who believes firmly in Krishna. What does it mean to believe firmly in Krishna? To believe firmly in Krishna, from the examples that we've studied of the great personalities in our movement and in other religions as well, it means to fully believe that Krishna will take care of me, that Krishna is there with me, and Krishna will help me, and that if I'm faithful to Krishna, Krishna will always be with me. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that one who sees everything in me and sees me in everything, never am I lost to him, and never is he lost to me. So simply by remembering Krishna, simply by remembering Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is with me right now as I speak. In this Zoom room, Krishna is with us right now and he's listening to his glories. Actually, I'm sitting in front of the deities right now and they're looking at me, and this Krishna is always with us. He's always with us. And when we believe that firmly, that Krishna is always with us, we are faithful. And this faith, Prabhupada mentions a very, very interesting line. He says, faith is attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting Namha mantra. But he also says, one is called faithful who thinks simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. So Prabhupada is saying that a faithful person knows that chanting will lead to perfection. But even if we don't have faith, even if we are not that faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, we can attain the highest perfection. He mentions faith is attained by the discharge of devotional service, by chanting Hare Krishna. So even if I do not have faith at this moment in time, so many doubts are always plaguing me. Even if I do not have faith at this moment of time, simply by discharging devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting, I will get faith. And then by that chanting, I will attain perfection. I will attain Krishna consciousness. I will attain that supreme spiritual peace. And so Srila Prabhupada quotes here the verse Chito Darpana Marjanam, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. So in Bhagavatam it says, Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyanto Stova Bhadrani Vidhunoti Sufritsatam. One who is always engaged in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. For him, the Lord, he comes into the heart with a mop in hand. No, not with a mop in hand, and he cleans the heart of all of the impurities, all of the material desires, all of the diseases that plague us. Right now we are suffering a pandemic of coronavirus, and I was just reflecting that we are taking this vaccine to protect against this coronavirus, to protect against the external enemies in this world. But what is there a vaccine? Is there a vaccine to protect against the internal enemies of the heart? What is that vaccine we can take? So this COVID vaccine is becoming kind of like a metaphor for the Maha Mantra. By taking this vaccine, we will be protected against COVID, but what about the enemies of the heart? Arjuna has so many arrows in his along with his Gandiva to shoot against so many enemies, the Kauravas. But what about the enemies of the heart? In the Bhagavad Gita 2.7, he mentions Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam. I am lost to the enemies of my heart. My dear Lord Krishna, please help me. Please vaccinate my heart. Please give me that eternal knowledge that can help me see clearly. So this chanting of the holy name is that vaccine which cleans one's heart of all material dirt. It is what will protect us against all our internal enemies. It's very powerful in that way. The third thing that Krishna mentions in this series of qualities of a most faithful devotee. In the qualities of a most faithful devotee is that they are samyatendriyaha. They are able to control their senses. So one of the examples that I was hearing from Radhanath Swami Maharaj is the example of Ranti Deva, and he's also a great example of dedication. He was a great king, and he left for the forest in order to do great austerities to please Lord Krishna. And he was at the end of all of his austerities, where he was going through intense periods of fasting. He would not eat anything. His limbs were trembling, and he was at the end, basically, of his life, literally of his life. And he had ordered a great feast of prasadam from his kingdom to come over and nourish his body and his family's body, which had also come along to do this austerity with him. And immediately, a Brahmana comes along and says, my dear sir, I am very, very hungry. Please give me some food to eat. And so immediately, the prasadam is offered to the Brahmana, and the Brahmana eats to his full heart's content. Then there is some food left, so Ranti Deva is again about to eat. He's about to break his fast, almost at the end of his life. And then again, just a normal person like you and me shows up at Ranti Deva's cottage, and he says, my dear king, can you please give me some food? I want to eat. Can you please give me some food? And immediately, Ranti Deva Maharaj, he gives this normal person like you and me the food to eat. Next, a person with a few dogs comes along, and he says, oh, Ranti Deva Maharaj, please, I would like to eat as well. Can you please give me some food as well? And so immediately Ranti Deva offers him as well, and he lets his family eat. Please enjoy whatever there is to eat. Finally, a person of what can I say? A person of at that time lower caste comes along, and he says, Maharaj Ranti Deva, please give me some food as well. And at this point, Ranti Deva, his eyes are bulging, his limbs are trembling, his hair is standing on end. He has given everything in charity. His family is eaten. He has simply not eaten. And what does he have left? All he has left is this one, not this big, a very small glass of water. And this basically is his life. This water will sustain him. And he says, my dear sir, please, this water is yours. Please accept it. And immediately he accepts it. And while accepting this water, which was basically his life, Ranti Deva Maharaj, he mentions, by giving you this water, I'm praying to Lord Krishna, similar to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer, Natanamna Janamna Sundarim, Kavitam Va Jagatisha Kamaye, Mama Janmani Janmanishware, bhavatad bhakti rahaitu kitvai. By giving this water, this life to this person, my dear Lord, let it be known that I do not want wealth, I do not want life, I do not want anything. I simply want to be able to come again and again onto this earth and be able to serve like this to humanity all the time. And he says, my dear Lord, I have no interest in anything but your devotional service. And I'm sure all of you know the rest of this story. All of those people who had come, assembled, the Brahmana, the normal person, the person with the dogs, as well as the lower caste person, they all transformed into demigods, and who are trying to test Rantideva's faith, who are trying to test Rantideva's tatparaha, attachment to transcendental knowledge. They were trying to test his samyatendriyaha, his sense control. And Rantideva had passed all the tests. And so we can see from the example of an exalted devotee like Rantideva, how truly the bar is so high for a pure devotee. And we can see, of course, we aspire to it. We can see how we can mold our lives in such a way so that the goal is simply to please Krishna. And so one picture that I feel summarizes the entire idea of faith is this picture right here. My mom was mentioning it to me. So here we see this father throwing up his baby in the air. And we see the baby is so happy. I remember when I was little and my dad used to throw me up in the air. I used to say, again, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And we used to get upset when our parents wouldn't like throw us up in the air. And I know in Kirtan also sometimes you'll see Sevanishta Prabhuji and his son. he'll be spinning him around like anything, and the little kids will be like, again. And so we can understand, back to the point, what is faith? What is truly faith? Faith is fully giving ourselves to Krishna. And when he does throw us up in the air, in the form of life's adversities, life's opportunities, life's great adventures, we say, my dear Lord, and we put up our hands like this little baby, and we say, I am yours. Whatever you do, I am totally fine with it. So we can understand from this picture what true faith is. Having true faith in Krishna, who is our Father, when he throws us up in the air, we should be okay with it. We should be happy. Well, like, not we should be happy, but we understand that Krishna will fully take care of us. And with that faith, that true conviction that Krishna is my father, Krishna is my mother, Krishna is my dhanapran, Krishna mata, Krishna pita, Krishna dhanapran, Krishna ra samsara kuro chhadi anachar, jive doya Krishna nam sarva dharma sar. By knowing that Krishna is my mother, Krishna is my father, Krishna is the treasure chest of my heart, by knowing that, then we can fully give ourselves to Krishna. And we can leave all of the unnecessary adversities of life and attain what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the supreme spiritual peace, Param Shantim. Now, the last thing I found very interesting about this verse is that how Prabhupada says with a lot of conviction, he says, a person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls his senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. So without delay and very easily we can attain Krishna consciousness. If we have faith, if we have sense control, and if we are dedicated to Krishna. With these three things, faith, dedication, sense control, we can achieve Krishna consciousness just like that. So we can understand that faith is the secret ingredient in our Krishna consciousness life. Now, I would like to, because it is Narasimha Chaturdasi is coming up, I'd also like to draw upon the beautiful character of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj had so much faith in Krishna, so much faith in Krishna that even when his own father was being attacked, by Lord Krishna, he was totally surrendered to Krishna. Now, one may think, his own father is being attacked and he doesn't say anything? Is it because he hates his father? Did Prahlad Maharaj hate his father for torturing him? That's in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, we understand that actually Prahlad Maharaj loves his father Hiranyakashipu dearly. Dearly, he loves Hiranyakashipu. And he explains that please, whatever benefit I have gotten from praying to you, please give those benefits to my father, the benefit of the doubt to my father, to Narasimhadev. But we understand that Prahlad Maharaj, he had full faith that the mercy of the Lord comes in different ways. So there is no difference between Narasimhadev killing Hiranyakashipu and Narasimhadev liberating Hiranyakashipu. And I think this story has such a big impact on how we see our own life. For example, in my own life, when, say, something doesn't go my way. I'm trying to think of an example. For example, maybe I am cut out from a certain activity. Like I don't make it to a certain club activity. I don't make it. They don't like my application. They don't want to take me. I take that to heart. I feel, oh man, I'm so worthless. They don't want me. I won't get anywhere in life. But then another opportunity comes up, an even better one, and they want me, and they would like me to come on board. And before that, I'm thinking, oh, it's nothing is going good in my life. But actually, Krishna has a bigger plan. Krishna has a bigger plan for everyone. And so when we accept that Krishna has a bigger plan, that his killing of Hiranyakashipu is the same thing as his love for Hiranyakashipu, we can understand that whatever happens in our lives, we should take control of it. But Krishna has a plan. Krishna has a plan for everything. And so that helps us stop wanting to take control of our lives and instead give control back to Krishna. So here we've understood faith in Krishna's plan, even though we might not know of it, is the secret ingredient to supreme spiritual peace. Okay, so this is all that I have prepared for today. So I would love to ask all of you, what are your realizations about this verse? And if I've missed anything, please forgive me. If there is anything that you would like to add, I would love to hear. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Motherji, for a wonderful class. Does anybody would like to have some reflections, questions, discussions? Please ask. It's a time for discussion. Yeah, Prashbu, Hare Krishna, very nice class. Good timing. Okay, wow. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very beautiful class. We liked it. But I just want to ask you one question. Like, if you could, define, give a definition, not define, say the difference between faith and blind belief.
Thank you so much for that question, Subal. That was definitely a question I was pondering when I was preparing for this class. What is the difference between faith and what is the difference between blind belief? Thank you so much for that question. So I'm sure you also have your wonderful thoughts about this, but when I was researching Radhanath Swami Maharaj's, I found this beautiful YouTube link on Radhanath Swami Maharaj speaking on, have we lost faith in faith? Have we lost faith in faith? So faith being our religious traditions. And I was reflecting on it, and he was speaking about how when there is a religious tradition that is very secular in nature, that there is only one way to do it, that there is Muslim, Hindu, there is so many different things, and I am only following one path. I'm only following one path, and all other paths are wrong. I feel like that would follow into the category of blind belief, not truly understanding the full picture that Krishna is everything. Krishna is in all religions. Krishna is present everywhere, and truly understanding the all-encompassing power of bhakti. I believe that is true faith. When we understand that, Krishna is beyond our small notions and our small considerations. Krishna is much beyond that. He's all-encompassing, all-loving. I believe that is faith. And so Radhanath Swami makes this really amazing PowerPoint. He makes this powerful point. He says, then it is good that we lose faith in faith, because that means we are losing that very narrow-minded concept that Krishna is only I can only achieve Krishna through my experience, not through any other experience. So I believe blind belief kind of falls into that category of what we would call, in today's language, mild fanaticism, not truly understanding the true essence of bhakti. What is bhakti? Love of God, love of all beings, love for all beings. And that bhakti is present not just in Hinduism, not just in Krishna consciousness, but it is present in all religions. All bona fide religions practice bhakti for Krishna. So I believe that is true faith, the true faith instead of blind belief. I would love to hear what your thoughts on this are as well, Subhaprabhu. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you for the wonderful answer, Mataji. That's I'll save my thoughts for tomorrow, because I think I'm speaking tomorrow. So, something very.
I know. So you'll be speaking on doubt, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, I'll be speaking on faithlessness. So it's I've been pondering on it as well. So I just wanted to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah, I look forward to your class. Yes, today we discussed about what are the qualifications of someone who is eligible for transcendental knowledge. But tomorrow, Subal Prabhu will be telling us what we should avoid and what will make us ineligible for this transcendental knowledge. So look forward to tomorrow's class. Today is the do's and tomorrow is the don'ts of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, I might not be as good as you, but
no, I'm sure it will be great. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the answer, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else has anything to add? Any questions, reflections, comments? Yes, the story of Deva is very beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing that. Many times we miss this. It's also similar, Maharaj Shibi. I think you know that the story of Maharaj Shibi?
I think I would love to hear it. I think I've forgotten it a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same actually. So Maharaj Shibi is also very very keen, very much in transcendental subject matter and the knowledge and performing the dharma very well. And the religious principles, everything, and not even deviating even for a minute. Everything is so much dedicated to the Supreme in the Dharma. So one day Indra and Vayu wanted to test again the Maharaj Shibi. So then the Vayu became the small bird, and Indra became what is called a bird. What is really call it as? It's like a Garuda kind of bird. It's a big bird trying to catch this bird. So this small bird flying and came and took the shelter of Maharaj Shibi. And then this Indra, disguised as a bird, again came and requested, "This is my prey. So you have to give to me, and you cannot hold of it. That is against Dharma. It is my prey." He said, "No, one who took my shelter, I will not leave." And this small bird came and took my shelter. Not going to leave. Then you tell me, then you decide, I'm hungry, this is my prey, these are my beans of my, my food. So then I would give, the equal amount of flesh that you can eat. This bird said, "No, I'm not going to accept that. I want the flesh from your body." So this Indra in the disguise asked, Shibi agreed, "Yes, I can give you, but I would protect this little Kurari bird." So then they cut the flesh from the body, from the thigh, and put it on a thrust, put it on a balance. It was mentioned that equal amount of the flesh of this bird. This bird is on the one, plate, and the flesh is on the another plate. And then it was not equal. Actually, every time the birds was actually, it's so heavy. Maharaj Shivi trying to put, okay, you can eat myself. I'm surrendering myself to you, but I would protect this bird. So Maharaj entered into the one of the plate of this balance. That's the time it's actually, balanced each other. That time those both birds, took their original form. This is Indra and the Vayu god. They wanted to touch Maharaj Shibi. Yeah, so this the moral is, the teaching is, one who follows this, even everybody, all the demigods even will be pleased. Everybody will be pleased, and even demigods will be pleased. We don't need to separately worship any of the demigods. Just by the, our devotion to the Supreme, and they will be all favorable for the devotees, no matter what. And the spiritual master is known as the spiritual master has the greatest position than the demigods, and the highest position than the demigods, a spiritual master. And devotees have higher position than the demigods. The one who follows this devotion, even demigods will be pleased, no doubt. So it's wonderful that the path we follow. So we should follow that sincerely, so that everybody is pleased by this process. Thank you.
Thank you. My favorite part of that story was when you mentioned that even the demigods have become favorable to when
Yes.
we practice Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Yes.
All qualities, and the qualities you were mentioning of Maharaj Shibi, such top transcendental qualities. So all beautiful qualities must manifest in a devotee who is just chanting.
Yep. There are wonderful qualities of a devotee. Yes. There are a lot of stories like that, the Puranas, the Upanishads and the Puranas. So nice to hear, so nice to understand. Yep. Anybody else? Any discussions? Anything to share? Anything to add? Jai. Then in few more verses on this transcendental knowledge, it's up to 42nd verse, 40 and 42nd. And they'll be concluding. So I'll be having a complete summary of this transcendental knowledge in coming classes. Once we finish the 42nd verse, that's a complete summary of the transcendental knowledge. So this gives that wonderful understanding of all chapter. This we may be going by section, or by verse or section by section, but when you take as a all or chapter, it's a different, different understanding. So
we've already made it to chapter 5. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're getting into chapter 5, and also don't miss Chaitanya Charitamrita class on the Saturday. So we started, and we are actually going to start on we are on this Saturday will be the glories of spiritual master. The first chapter of Adi Lila up to 14th verse, 1-4. So it gives a wonderful glories of the spiritual master, and it's so amazing. Please don't miss. These are all nectars, and this is very rare opportunity that we get this nectars. So this nectar is needed for our immortality. This gives us the life from the corona. This we get the immortality from all this pandemic, all this external, potencies, external calamities. Please join, and thank you so much. If there is nothing else to discuss, we still have some more time. If anybody would like to add something, please go ahead. Yeah, that's true. Narasimha Chaturdashi is coming on the 25th. Today is 19th. In 5 days, we will be celebrating the Narasimha Chaturdashi on next Tuesday. Everybody please register. Everybody please come and join. And it will be very auspicious. Everybody will be benefiting personally, I'm sure, guaranteeing you. And it's so nice to be in the. This is a scientific process. First of all, don't miss that. Is this there's some fire? No, it's just very scientific. The gear is very scientific, and please take part and become part of the Narasimha. And we will be also having Narasimha Archana. We'll be offering 108 Tulasi leaves to the Lord Narasimhadev, chanting the 108 names of Lord Narasimhadev. And we'll be having a Pida, asana for Lord Narasimhadev. And also, there is a temple in Karnataka. Every day, they offer the Narasimhadev like a very specific, drink. It's called the Panaka. Panaka means, which is jaggery, is a jaggery water. So they offer this jaggery water to Lord Narasimhadev in a conch.
A conch, wow.
So everybody could hear that the sound which comes out from the conch, that as if that Narasimhadev is actually drinking it from the conch. Gulu 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 sound, that sound which comes from the conch itself. And they could see that if they fill up this, a full conch, and it would become half, and then half will be getting back to the devotees. So it's mentioned that Narasimhadev is having this everything and then giving us a prasad to everybody. We will be also offering Panaga to the Narasimhadev on Chaturdashi, on this Narasimha Chaturdashi. Everybody also will be getting that as a prasadam back. So it's a prasadam from Lord Narasimhadev.
Will we offer it in a conch as well?
Yes, we'll be offering in a conch. We'll be offering in a conch. So please join. It will be nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Prabhu, Hari
yes.
Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You can remind them if they haven't registered, they can still register it.
I reminded, Proj.
Good, thank you.
That was my first sentence. Yeah. Very good. Anything else? Anybody else has anything to add? Yeah. Okay. So then there is nothing else. So let's conclude today's class. Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class. So nicely explaining. And it's a very, very important chapter, one of the very important chapter. This gives us the transcendental knowledge that's most important. So we are after for so many this material knowledge, but at the end of the day, it's just a waste of time. But the moment we understand the knowledge of the Supreme, the knowledge of the devotees and their relationship, how we can actually, even though we are in this material world, how we can transcend ourselves to that Supreme, from this material nature to that spiritual nature, and how we can prepare our journey back to Godhead. And that's what is very important, this transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, every other knowledge which gives us is either binding in this world or giving us the pain or, unhappiness or distress. In so many ways we can get it. That's what we can see in this world also. Nobody is happy. They have so much of knowledge, but there is no medicine for this unhappiness.
No medicine.
There is no medicine for the unhappiness. There is no medicine for the distress. There is nothing people can do. But we saw that all the hippies, those who are seeking for all this pleasure and the happiness,
Yes.
when they started to chant the holy name and they started the devotional service, all the hippies became happies.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the verse it says that one, Prabhupada is mentioning, one who has faith easily attains this Krishna consciousness. So those hippies are a testament to that.
Yeah. All hippies, there are so many devotees, so many transcendental devotees. I mean, if he goes through each devotee's life is an example. The Giriraj Maharaj has a book, Many Moons. Everybody knows that book, Many Moons? It's a beautiful book. And Maharaj said, right? Srila Prabhupada said that, this all can become a stars in the sky. Srila Prabhupada said, no, it's not the stars, but we need one moon. So that's most important, right? That's the most important. So based on that, Giriraj Maharaj wrote a book, compiled a book, Many Moons. So all our wonderful, sages, sannyasis like Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, Guru Govinda Maharaj, and many others like that. They just passed away, and their glories, Kamala Krishna Maharaj, their glories. These are known as moons, many moons. Yes, I mean their life story, the pastimes, It's so glorious. Just by going through and understanding their life, how they all transformed by this information. How did they get the transformation? So it's so this knowledge, this information is for the transformation. So this transcendental knowledge helps us to transform ourselves, to transcend ourselves. Yes, there is definitely a platform, the transcendental platform, beyond this material, gross material and subtle, and beyond that, there is a transcendental platform. So this helps us to stay there in the transcendental platform. This gives us energy. This gives us potential. This gives us the inspiration to get up in the morning, to chant, to listen, to associate. We have so much of negative energy. The morning in the bed, oh, why should I get up in the morning? Let me sleep a little more. Why should I get up? Why should I, destroy my, what is called the beauty sleep, right? That's what it's called. Why should I, why should I listen? Why should I, I can go and enjoy and I can do something else. These are the negative, or we call it as the energy of Maya, illusory energy. But one, we all experience this, one who has association, one who has the able to hear the spiritual master and the lecture and association in Bhagavad Gita. No matter what, actually, at the morning, you get up. Yes, I need to, this is my responsibility. This is my duty. This is my vow. This is my eternal dharma. Yes, we do have the material dharma, but the most important is actually we have to fulfill our spiritual dharma. Material dharma is there. I was thinking actually, on the other day, just going through this information, it's like we are going through these 4 stages of life. One is, starting with the brahmacharya life, then grihastha life, then vanaprastha life, and sannyasa life. According to the sannyasa life, it says that you should put 100% for Krishna, 100% for Krishna and the devotional service, devotional activities, 100%. This comes to a brahmachari, he should give at least 75% to the Lord and his all activities to the Krishna, everything surrounded by. This comes to a vanaprastha, at least he should give 50 to 75, depends. But at least minimum 50, he has to dedicate his life for the Krishna in the vanaprastha. And then on the grihastha, it is 25%. That means 75% he is a material. I mean, he has to go and work and get the money and to take care of the other 3 ashramas. This is the duty of a grihastha. So at least 25%. So if you take 25% of this 24 hours of a day, it is, we can say that almost 6 hours. That is basically, that's a minimum requirement for a, we can say we are a grihastha, not a Vaishnava, as a grihastha. That's called grihastha ashramam. Then we can think, where are we standing on that, right? And then at least, okay, if we compromise on that, at least we need to, minimum 3 hours, we have to dedicate as a grihastha for the Supreme. Every day, 3 hours minimum, we have to dedicate for Krishna and his service, either chanting or listening or hearing, engaging in his activities. Minimum 3 hours. So that is a grihastha. That's a minimum requirement for a grihastha. And on top of that, then we took the vows and initiated and Vaishnava devotees. So you have more responsibilities. You have more responsibilities to lead others, to take care of, and to bring others in the Krishna. So we have responsibilities, not that, when we take the initiation and we completely cleared off. Yesterday there was a discussion that when we take the initiation, all our sins are eradicated. It's not really like that. Yes, sins are actually reduced, sins are actually consumed. How these sins are when one take initiation, how the sins are actually kind of consumed. Yes, spiritual master takes pretty much of the karma of the devotee and gives a path. Initiating a path gives a path to follow in the, so investing, the spiritual master investing a potency to the devotee, to the disciple, so that disciple can take this forward. So that way, spiritual master is actually consuming major portion of his karma, but not completely, major portion of his karma to give a path. Then it is a responsibility of the disciple that to get rid of the karma, the rest of the karma from us, and to progress in the path by the mercy of the spiritual master. So it's a big responsibility. So it's very, it's a science. Definitely, dear devotees, this we are all that spiritual, we are all spiritual entities, not the material entities. Yet temporarily we are covered by these various bodies, but we are spiritual entities. By the illusion, by the material energy, we forget all this. We completely with the material nature. We are so immersed in the material nature and activities of the material nature, so we don't remember, we don't understand, we completely forget these aspects. But this association, this transcendental topic, transcendental knowledge, revive our original constitution, our spiritual nature, and which gives us that knowledge and transcendental understanding, so that we can situate and we can at least put ourselves in the transcendental devotional service. So this helps a lot. So don't miss this. And it's not in the second chapter, Krishna telling to Arjuna, these opportunities is not just coming by an accident, but it's will of the Lord. You have to perform your duty. You don't get it this all the time. Krishna is telling this in the second chapter. It's the providence, it's the will of the providence. Krishna was telling like that. So you have to take that opportunity. So this is the will of the Lord, will of the Krishna, mercy of the Lord, and Srila Prabhupada. So please take the opportunity. Don't miss, and as much as possible. We do have a beautiful, wonderful section in the morning, Srimad Bhagavatam. Standing in the morning and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We have evening section, the Bhagavad Gita section. And I think that one who is serious can see that, how beautiful, how profound is each verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is. Each verses of Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing the complete transcendental science. So it's important, very, very important. So everybody please join. Don't miss this. In all the way, it is all beneficial. One time somebody asked, I think it's a reporter or somebody came to ask Srila Prabhupada, if you go there in spiritual world, or you realize that at the time of death, there is nothing like that. There is no God. There is no spiritual world. There is no spiritual thing. There is nothing like that. It's a complete waste of your life, isn't it? So Srila Prabhupada asked a question. What if I realize at the time of death, I realized, I understood that there is a spiritual world, there is a God, there is everything is there. So then I'm still benefited. I'm not losing anything. But think about you. You are not doing anything, but realize that there is spiritual. This is a complete waste of your life. So nothing to lose in this path. Nothing to lose. as Srila Prabhupada asked Bhaktichari Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada asked, you so much of life you passed, and if you just utilize this one life and see how it is, just one lifetime, you think that if it works for you, then that is, that's more beneficial. You pass so many lifetimes. Why did you try this one lifetime? So that's where Bhaktichari Maharaj picked up the devotion. Yes, let me try. This word is the point, devotees, and let's try. Let us put ourselves some extent so that it gives us such a wonderful opportunity. We all can benefit. So, yeah, I mean, this gives, in all the respects, this gives complete benefits, even materially, also, most importantly, spiritually. So nothing to lose in this path. Nothing to lose in this path. All hippies can become happies all the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jai Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for a wonderful class. If there is no other discussion or topic, let us conclude. Anybody has anything to add? Okay, so let's conclude then today's section. Vancha kalpatarubhishya prabha sindhubhya evacha padidana pavane Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnavunda ki jai. Viraj Srimad Bhagavad Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Vaishnavunda ki jai. Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Bo. Thank you, Mataji. Great class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
But